Leading the way on air, online, and on the go. From WLWT, this is Issues.
Hello, welcome to Issues. I'm Jan-Michele Lemon Kearney of SES Communications and the Cincinnati Herald. We have a lot to talk about today. A little later, we're going to introduce you to the ghost of Harriet Tubman. She has a lot to say. We're also going to meet just a ton of really talented young people in the Envision Children's Summer Camp. So a lot going on. First, we're going to talk about something we really need to attend to, and that's recycling. So a lot of good information. So let me introduce you to Molly Yeager from Rumpke.
Hi.
Thank you, Molly, for coming.
It's great to be here today.
And you said, oh, there's a lot of recycling to talk about, but in reading through your notes, I realized there's so much I'm doing wrong. So let's first just talk about why is recycling important?
Recycling is important for a variety of reasons. One that's near and dear to Rumpke's heart is it saves valuable landfill space. You know, we only have so much space to put all of this region's trash, and we take in trash for about 60-mile radius at our Colerain Township landfill. Wow. And while we're planning on the future, we know eventually we will run out of space, and we need to start saving that space for things that we can't recycle.
So what happens when we're going to talk about the right way to recycle, but what happens with the actual recyclable materials? Where do they go?
That's a great question. First of all, there's two trucks that come to your house. One that picks up the trash,
right,
and then one picks up the recycling. The trash obviously goes to our landfill in Colerain Township. The recycling will travel to our plant in St. Bernard, so just right outside the city limits.
Okay.
Where what we do there is we actually separate out the material by type. So you took all the time to put all your recycling in a separate container, then we're going to separate it out by type. So plastic bottles we separated from the paper, we separated from the cardboard and the steel cans and the aluminum cans and the glass. From there, we're going to ship it off to different end users, different manufacturers that will turn it into new and useful products.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. So now let's talk about tips, because we were laughing. You said, one thing that a lot of people do wrong is they put their recyclable stuff in big plastic bags. Mm-hmm. I do that. I shred papers, mm-hmm. I tear stuff up, anything I'm going to discard. Mm-hmm. Instead of putting it just out in the big green container, I wrap it neatly in a big plastic garbage bag. And you're saying no.
Well, I think the confusion started when we switched from those little red bins to those larger carts.
Right.
So it's more like a trash can, so people treated it more like a trash can. So
we're trying to be neat and tidy, and that's wrong.
Neat and tidy, and that's great that you're trying to be neat and tidy, but the problem is we need the material loose so that we can separate it out by type, so we can send it to those different end users to turn into those new products. So when it comes into our plant, we actually have to tear open each one of those plastic bags, shake all the material loose, and so we can separate it out. And since we process at a rate about 60 tons per hour, it's so quick, and not all the recyclables may come out of those plastic bags. So we really need them to be in there loose.
Okay, so no more tying stuff up. We're going to leave it loose and messy, and that's actually better.
It's much,
okay, now let's
better.
talk about the kinds of things like plastic. I'm always confused about plastic. And I thought there was some little arrow thing on the bottom that tells you it has to be like a number 2, but it sounds like that's not what we're looking for.
The confusion with plastic, you are not alone. Plastic recycling is very confusing. People think because it's plastic, they can recycle it. But not everything that's plastic can be recycled. One thing that we're looking for when it comes to plastic are bottles and jugs. So look at the shape of the container. So
it's the shape and size.
It's the shape of the container that matters. So if the top of the container is smaller than the bottom and often has a screw cap, that's a bottle or a jug. Or you can just say the name. So you say milk jug, you say water bottle, you don't say butter bottle. It's usually a butter tub, and we don't take tubs at this time.
Okay.
They just can't be turned into the same products.
So jug. So if the bottom is larger than the top, it's probably recyclable.
Probably
if it's plastic.
Exactly. Yeah. When it comes to plastic.
So I was going to say, what kinds of things should we be sure that we don't recycle? Because I know there's some things that you're saying are actually dangerous for the employees and for the equipment.
Well, one thing that besides not putting your plastics inside the plastic bag, don't put the plastic bag at all inside your recycling bin, because we can't recycle it ourselves. Manufacturers that will be able to turn that into new products require they be clean, dry, and like new condition, and we cannot guarantee that. So if you want to recycle those plastic bags, you need to take them back to a Kroger or another retail center that has those collection points that can provide it to those end users in that condition. So no plastic bags.
So you're saying even the little grocery plastic bags we can't recycle?
No, not in your Rumpke recycling bin.
I do that every week. I'm just stuffing plastic bags.
And again, you're not alone. We've done some studies. We're receiving millions of them each month. And
yeah, they're probably mine.
I'm sure you don't go through millions. Right. But people, if they really want to recycle them and make your recycling efforts count, take them back to a retail location to recycle that material. Don't put them in your recycling bin.
No plastic bags. bags.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only plastic things we should really recycle are the jugs.
Bottles and jugs.
Bottles
exactly.
and jugs. Okay. Now what about those pizza boxes?
Pizza boxes are actually okay as long as they're clean, and they do exist, I promise. A lot of pizza companies are putting a grease catcher in the bottom.
Yeah.
So that usually salvages the whole box. But if it doesn't have those grease catcher and you have a really greasy pizza, just tear off the lid and put that in your recycling bin. That cuts down on your trash right there.
Okay, and then what about, because my husband's always fussing about this, are we supposed to undo the boxes? Like, we don't just put the whole box, like I'll just throw the whole box in. He's like, you're supposed to undo it or something.
As long as it fits in your cart, we're okay. It used to be that we asked you to cut it down smaller. So as long as it fits in the cart. I mean, obviously the smaller you can smash it up, the more space you have in your recycling container. Okay. But it doesn't have to be, you know, cut up into little pieces.
Oh, good, not a big deal. Then that's great. That's good to know. Okay, now we had a graphic up here that maybe we'll bring back later because we didn't get to really talk about it.
Yeah.
But oh, here it is. So tell us about that. I think that's telling us about the basics about what we can recycle.
Yeah, the basics of what you can recycle. So we accept about 5 categories of material. So paper products. This would include your, you know, from your office paper, your junk mail, your telephone books, as well as cardboard and paperboard. Paperboard being like your cereal boxes, your cracker boxes, things along those lines. And then your cardboard boxes, all those packages you're getting from your Amazon Prime Day.
Right.
You can put those directly in your recycling bin. So that would be the paper category. Then cartons is the newest thing we accept. And a lot of things are coming in cartons these days, from soup to wine to broth. They're all coming in cartons instead of cans. And we want to recycle those.
You can recycle those.
Yeah,
okay.
Just no lids or straws when it comes to those.
Okay.
And then when it comes to metal cans, we're looking for aluminum beverage cans. So your Coke can, when you're done with that. Then steel cans, so your soup cans. We don't want pots and pans in this category. While metal is very recyclable, it really needs to be in a can form for us to be able to recycle it.
Okay, so soup cans, pop cans.
Exactly.
Okay.
Even aerosol cans are okay as long as it's empty and the lids and tips are removed.
Okay.
And then we have glass bottles and jars, very recyclable material. That actually goes on. In Ohio, we're really pushing glass recycling here because we have a lot of end users that can use that material and turn it into fiberglass insulation that we can use in our houses.
Okay.
Or even new glass bottles and jars.
That's wonderful.
And then the last category, again, is the plastics, which would be the bottles and jugs only. So that's what we're looking for there.
And there, I should say, there's a video at rumpke.com that people can look at, and we'll connect you through WLWT.com. You'll have to come back. This is really, really good information, and I've learned a lot.
Oh, great.
Thanks
you,
Molly.
for having me.
Okay, come back soon. Stick with us. We'll be back in a moment with the ghost of Harriet Tubman. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce you to the ghost of Harriet Tubman, and we have a great t-shirt too. So welcome, Patricia Humphreys fan. It's so good to see you, editor of Suspension Press, you're a journalist, you do so much, and we're really excited that you've been doing the Ghost of Harriet Tubman for what, 31 years?
I've been doing the Ghost of Harriet Tubman for 31 years.
Oh my God, so let's go back. How did you get inspired by Harriet Tubman? I'm going to put this t-shirt here. I don't know how, we can see it a little bit.
Everything evolved through the Suspension Press. And I was
in Northern Kentucky, which is great.
Northern Kentucky, Greater Cincinnati. We covered both states. That's why it was called the Suspension Press.
Right.
And I got inspired. First of all, I was called to do a newspaper, which I didn't go to college for. So everything evolved through the Suspension Press.
Wow.
So I started publishing the Suspension Press in 1982. In 1985, then what happened was, our children, we never celebrated Black History Month. Nobody ever told us about Black History Month.
And I want to talk about that because you're saying you went to Holmes High School. It was forced desegregation, and you were one of the first classes.
No, the
Did I
high
get that
school.
wrong?
No,
Okay.
Holmes High School was already integrated.
Okay.
Forced integration came in 1965.
And that's when.
That's when I was a senior at Lincoln Grant William Grant High School, at a school that I had been going to from the time that I was in the kindergarten. Looking forward to our graduation when our principal came in, and by the way, our principal was in the Selma, Alabama march. But even though, you know, he came in one day and announced that they were going to close our school. So as seniors, it broke our heart.
Right.
There was no orientation, no phasing us in. We just had to go. So when we went out to Holmes High School, of course we were upset. And when I went out to Holmes High School and I saw everything that the white school had, and we didn't have, something wasn't right about that picture, because no one ever told me about who I was. So we had to walk from the west side of town to the east side of town every day to school. When there was a school behind us, we couldn't eat at the restaurants, couldn't go to the movies, but nobody ever told us, so things were just the way they were.
Right.
We didn't do white bashing at the dinner table, and no one ever told us that we were less than human beings. So when I grew up, I thought my place in society was where I wanted to be, and that's where the rubber met the road, and the rest is history.
That's right. So you graduated from Holmes High School, and you were saying you didn't really hear much about history, especially about black history.
We didn't hear anything at our own black school. Our own black teachers did not teach us about black history. I think they were too intimidated and too afraid to speak out.
Or maybe told they weren't allowed to. I mean,
that's probably possible. I mean, after all, we were descendants of slaves.
Right. That's right. So how did you connect with Harriet Tubman? You actually know her descendants.
Yes, I met her descendants through John Fisher, who used to be a journalist for the Kentucky Post. Because all of it is building relationships.
Right.
So building relationships, I started doing Harriet Tubman back in 1985. I created me a slave costume, went back into the schools, which denied me my history, and gave it to those kids.
Wow.
That's how I did that.
So you really brought history to life.
I brought history to life, and this is what I tell the kids, because it's most important, that we were not the first group of people that were enslaved.
Right.
Throughout biblical history, people have been enslaved. So the point that I want to iterate to our children is this: if someone hates you because of the color of your skin, they don't know you and you don't know them, they got the problem and you don't.
That's their problem.
That's their problem.
That's
and do not allow them to get you angry, because when you get angry, you cannot think, and when you cannot think, you cannot be productive.
That's right.
And that's how we have to do this.
And I love the fact that you've gone all over the world. I understand you've performed in London, England.
I went in 2000 year 2000, I went to London, England. Now, Queen Victoria wanted Harriet Tubman to come to England, but Harriet Tubman couldn't make it, but the ghost of Harriet Tubman did.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so great. And there's a quote here by Harriet Tubman that I just love that you gave us, and you said her motto was "Keep going,
keep on moving."
And let me read this quote, and this is from Harriet Tubman, and you gave this quote to us: "Children, if you are tired, keep going. If you are scared, keep going. If you are hungry, keep going. If you want to taste freedom, keep going."
You got to keep going.
I love that.
You must keep going. You cannot. All over this world, there is chaos. All over the world. We just have to figure out how we're going to have to deal with the chaos. And right now, there's an issue going on with the gun violence.
Right.
And we need to do something about that. And I think, in my spirit, that I can dazzle them enough to at least get them in conversation.
That's beautiful.
You know, and so my thing is reaching out to the community, let the community know, and since she's on that $20 bill, then because the Inquirer called,
phenomenal, yeah.
Who would have ever thought that God would give me a job to do Harriet Tubman, and she ended up on the $20 bill.
That's fantastic.
Only in America.
That's right. I want to say some other good things you do, because you give a lot to the community.
Yes.
And you've gotten scholarships for young people going to camp. And Jeff is telling us we're almost out of time. You used to have a show. We want to give Jeff a little shout out, because he actually produced your first show.
Yes.
But we want to give you a chance to actually perform a little bit of Go Down Moses, and you perform for the young people in here today. So you can sit right here and just go ahead, take it from here. Okay.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Ooh, let my people go.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now, Miss Humphreys fan, where can we see you perform next?
Well, hopefully, I will be coming over here to the city of Cincinnati doing some work for the Cincinnati Recreation Department.
Okay, good.
So that's hopefully that I will come over.
We're going to look for that.
Hopefully I can come to their camp.
That would be great. Okay, so you all have to invite her. We're going to look for that. Thank you so much. You have to come back soon. Stick with us. We'll be back in just a moment. so good. Oh my goodness. That was so great. Okay, welcome Cheryl McConaughey. So good to see you.
I'm glad to be back.
So this is Envision Children's Camp. Let me welcome King and Nyla. Thank you for coming. I know King is mic'd up, so King, you're going to have to do the talking. Nyla, you can smile and just tell King what to say if you want to, okay? But I think King will be fine on his own. So this is great. So this summer, you have 120 young people.
Yes.
This camp is just booming.
Yes, it is.
120 young people in
Yes.
this camp. That is fantastic.
It's amazing. We have 3 locations now. So we're at Winton Woods Intermediate School, we're at Bond Hill, and we're also at Youthland Academy, a part of the preschool promise and kindergarten readiness, getting children ready for kindergarten.
And I should say now, so this was the Winton Woods Academy group that we just saw.
Right.
You wanted to bring Bond Hill, but Jeff said, okay, I don't know if we can have 65 in here at
I
once.
know. I wanted
and then
them
Youthland
here.
Academy, they're a little younger, so we said we'll just wait for them.
Yes, we'll bring them maybe next time. I'll have to make sure Jeff says okay.
Yeah, he would love it.
Yeah.
So, and the theme this year is sports and
academics.
How does that work?
It's been phenomenal. So for the first week, so each week we do a different sport: football, tennis, hockey, baseball. The first week was football, and Vincent Ray, you know, who sits on our board.
Yeah, Vinny Ray, he's wonderful from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
He loves you guys.
We love him. He brought teammates out to Winton Woods. Bond Hill came out, and they did a training camp with the children.
Oh my goodness.
About 10 players came out.
That's
and then they
fantastic.
talked, and they went, didn't you guys go to the football field?
Yeah. I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and they got to run around, and they got to hear the Bengals talk about listening to your teacher and following authority.
I saw a big core.
Really?
It was,
oh my goodness.
It was wonderful.
Well, King, tell me, what do you like about camp?
Because
Is it fun? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Because what? I didn't mean to cut you off. You said because what?
Because I like sports.
Oh, you like sports. Now, are you learning, when you're learning sports, are you also learning things like math? Because I know Miss McConaughey, she gets that math and the English and all that history, everything comes in there. Yeah, you might not even realize you're learning all that. Bless you.
Bless you. Yeah, okay, bless you. So let me, King, so when we're doing stuff, do you do the wall card words?
Yeah.
What are some words that you've learned?
I learned boisterous.
Boisterous.
Boisterous? What? How old are you?
4.
No. Nyla. You've also learned boisterous? Oh my
And
goodness.
halcyon and kleptomaniac and
Rambunctious.
Rambunctious? Oh my goodness.
Cacophonous.
cacophonous.
Oh my goodness.
It's the same as boisterous.
ABC-darian.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I think we're ready for the SAT. It's time for college. It's time for college.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That is so great. Look at them. Oh, this is wonderful.
It's great.
So you take the sports and the whatever fun theme you have and you're integrating the math and the English. And
So they worked, so with our younger ones, like we worked on rectangles and quadrilaterals and just the football field. The older ones, we talked about yardage and inches and conversions. And
Oh my
then we do that
goodness.
for every single week.
That is so fantastic. I want to mention one thing you do is you make sure this camp is affordable because you
Yes.
have fundraisers.
Yes.
There's a fundraiser coming up in October.
Oh, boy,
So we
oh, boy.
we're over 120 students already. We're going to get more into this camp so they
Yes.
can learn about boisterous and rambunctious.
Absolutely.
Right. So
We have-
halcyon and all those nice big words.
Listen, guys.
So tell us about Casino Night
So
coming
Casino
up.
Night's coming up, I believe, October 21st. It's going to be down at Prime 47 again. And
Nice.
the tickets are only about $35. We're encouraging groups to come out and make this a networking activity.
Very
afterward.
affordable.
And that way we're raising money so we can work with more children throughout the school year.
Okay, now Cheryl, Jeff is saying go through that, what's on the screen, and let us know about it.
Oh, okay. So it's Friday, October 3rd. I thought it was a little bit later, but maybe it's October 3rd, Prime 47. You can always find out on our website. It's www.envisionchildren.org, but I believe it is Friday, October 21st.
It is. Okay, I'm looking at the flyer. I'm sorry, we made a little error
Right,
here,
so it is October 21st. The donation is $35. You'll get some chips. You'll get to do some things inside of the casino, play games.
Over
and
35 gaming tables and other entertainment.
And it's all going to be used to, the money raised is to be able to do academic summer programming, Power Saturdays, private tutoring, ACT boot camps, anything that we can do to help the children have a successful school career.
All right, and we should mention, in addition to the summer camp, you do tutoring all year long. And tell us about the Power Saturdays.
The Power Saturdays start in September. They're once a month for 4 hours on Saturdays, and they're math and science intensive. So it's hands-on science and word problems, and then the ACT boot camps are 5 weeks long, and it really gets them prepared to take the ACT. It really makes a difference.
It's fantastic. So, so young people, so we want to make sure that a lot more young people get involved with this program so they can be super smart like you.
Right.
So we want people to go to, is it envisionchildren.org?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and we're going to connect you through WLWT.com so you can get to casino night, October 21st.
Yes.
And you can get your children involved in the Power Saturdays and future summer programs so they can be like these young people.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Cheryl. You guys have to get back. Thank you, King. Thank you, Nyla.
Yes.
Great job.
Wonderful.
All right,
amazing.
don't go yet.
No, wait, hold
Stick
on.
with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, Michael Bobo is going to give you calendar events, but she brought some guests with us. She wondered who are all these beautiful young people standing behind us. Michael will introduce them.
Thank you for New Prospect Baptist Church Summer Youth Program for joining the show and visiting us today. And now we'll have the calendar. First is the Diogenes Theater Company remounts the production of Twilight Los Angeles 1992 with it's a one-woman show with Tori Wiggins. That will be July 18th through 21st at the No Theater. Located at 1120 Jackson Street. The tickets are $25. For more information, call 381-PLAY. That's 381-7529. And next is this Commonly Jazz Concert Summer Jazz Series every Thursday in August, starting August 4th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Eden Park Season Good Pavilion. For more information, call 205-4586. That's all the calendar we have today.
That's great. So we want everybody, okay, Jeff said don't wave, so everybody smile. The New Prospect Baptist Church Summer Youth Camp. Are you guys having fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And we should introduce Mr. Harry Gentry, who drove everybody here. So you guys, now you can wave goodbye. Okay. All right, we want you to have a great week. Stay safe and stay positive.